Illustrator. I'm going to make a new document. I'm going to choose A4. Okay, make sure you set this to millimeters, otherwise it will confuse you. That's tall, that's wide. Portrait, landscape. We're choosing portrait today. Hit create. We get a blank white document. This is the foreground color, or the fill color, and this is the border color, or the stroke color. So fill and stroke. We're going to switch these around by clicking on that little arrow here. And now we got a fill that's black and a stroke that's white. We're going to remove the stroke by clicking on it once and then clicking on the null color just below. Now we've got a fill that's black and we've got no border or no stroke color, which is handy. Drawing a rectangle, there's a rectangle tool here. We click and drag to move it around. We choose the selection tool and we click anywhere on the blackness, preferably avoiding the border. And these guys here are called anchor points at the side. So once we click anywhere in the main part of the square, we can move it around. If we want to move one of the anchor points, we choose the direct selection tool here. We click on one of the corners and we can move one of the corner anchor points around, change the shape. If we want to add an anchor point, we click on the pen tool and we roll over this invisible line that's around the border. It's called a stroke. It's indicated by a blue line, but as far as the computer is concerned, it's invisible, unless you, of course, give it a thickness. So on this little line, if we roll right over it, we get a plus sign. Do you see it there? We click at that, it actually creates a new point. That's what the plus means. Then we're going to go onto the direct selection tool, and we're going to click and drag on that point. If you want to remove a point, same again, we choose the pen tool, we roll over one of the anchor points, and you see the negative, the minus sign. Click that, it removes a point. Oh, we have a different shape then. And we can move those anchor points around any way we like. All right, that's that done, delete, and it's gone. Next thing we're going to do here is we're going to do our text like we did in class. We choose on the T on the toolbox over here for our text tool. We click and we type our text. We do not click and drag to write text. We just choose our text tool and we click once on the screen. To make it bigger, we can either choose a larger number here, or we can type a larger number here, or with the direct selection tool, or preferably the selection tool on the left hand side, we can hold down the shift key and drag it by a corner to make it larger. Hold down the shift key and drag it by a corner to make it smaller. The reason we hold down the shift key, if we don't hold the shift key down, we end up with the text doing things like this, which is not really acceptable when it comes to typography. To make the text outlined, we go to Type, Create Outlines. That must be done while the text is still selected with the selection tool. To ungroup the text, we go to Object, Ungroup. And then we click away anywhere on the white or the grey on the outside, and that deselects our objects, which are now text. We move them around. Okay. To rotate them, we hang off the edge with our selection tool. And if we hang off the edge of each object while it's selected, we're able to rotate it in a clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. And that's really all there is to what we're doing in this exercise. Except for one little thing. If you want to move all these objects together, you have two choices. You can click on each one separately with the shift key held down. That allows us to move them all together. Or we can click and drag a box around the lot of them together, and then we have all the objects together. When you want to release them, you click either away onto the white artboard or onto the pasteboard in the background, the grey one. And that's that. To save, File, Save. We choose where you want to put it, Documents, make a new folder and save it in there.